A young Japanese woman named Kashima Reiko was walking home at night. Sadly, she fell victim to a group of assailants. Beaten, raped and left for dead, the poor dying woman crawled on the ground to beg for help. Very weakened, she lost consciousness on a railroad track. This is when she was cut in two by a train. Since then, the spirit of the deceased haunts the train stations in search of her missing legs. She crawls around on claw-like hands, sharpened to the bone from years of dragging, which now make the Teke Teke sound. Angry and vengeful, she chases those waiting around too long. If she catches you, she will cut you in half to make you like her. Beware of appearances, because this creature that is very seductive by day, turns into a horrible monster by night. The neck of the Rokurokubi gets longer, and she becomes ruthless. Some of these creatures only scare humans while others devour them. Most of the time, these yokai of ordinary appearance are totally unnoticed in society. Fortunately, these dangerous creatures can be unmasked by their little white marks on the neck. Hanako San is a vengeful spirit who haunts the third-floor restrooms in schools. This black-haired girl that frightens children, can be found in the third toilet of the girls' bathroom. Hanako San is said to have died during a bombing raid in World War II. Another version claims that she was killed by a pervert who pretended to be her friend. Finally, a last story says that she committed suicide. In any case, be careful not to pronounce her name 3 times if you don't want her to aspire you into hell. This urban legend is very well known in Japan. It is about a very beautiful lady of the Edo period, who fell victim of her jealous husband. As he suspected his wife of being unfaithful to him, a samurai decided to slit her mouth in revenge. While mutilating his wife, he yelled at her, "Who will think you are beautiful now?" and then murdered her. After her death, the disfigured deceased turned into an onryo. Driven by anger, she does not hesitate to kill young children or men according to the versions. According to popular legend, she asks potential victims if they think she is beautiful. If they respond with no, she will either kill them with her long medical scissors on the spot, or wait until nightfall and murder them in their sleep. If they say yes, she will reveal that the corners of her mouth are slit from ear to ear, and she will then repeat her question. If the individual responds with no, she will kill them with her weapon. And if they say yes, she will cut the corners of their mouth in such a way that resembles her own disfigurement. In order to survive an encounter with Kuchisake-Onna, describe her appearance as average. Hachishakusama is an 8 feet tall woman with black hair, extremely soulless eyes, and a twisted creepy smile. She wears a white hat and a white dress, sometimes with shoes such as sandals, white or black high heels, or sometimes she goes around barefoot. Hachishakusama kidnaps children, and it is said that only the children targeted by the Hachishakusama can see her. Once she has chosen a victim, that child disappears soon after. If you hear a strange noise that sounds like po, 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 then Hachishakusama is near. According to Japanese folklore, Nure-Onna is a snake woman reputed to haunt shorelines, and will trap fishermen and swimmers, before crushing them to death and sucking the blood from her victims with her long tongue. She lures her victims with a small bundle, said to resemble a baby. If the victim offers to hold the baby, she will let them live. If they try to get rid of it, the bundle becomes incredibly heavy and they are unable to escape. In other stories, she just wants to wash her long hair in peace, and will attack any who interrupt her. Futakuchi-Onna is characterized by her 2 mouths, a normal one located on her face, and a second one on the back of the head beneath the hair. The skull splits apart, forming lips, teeth, and a tongue, creating an entirely functional second mouth. In many stories, the soon-to-be Futakuchi-Onna is a wife of a miser and rarely eats. To counteract this, the second mouth mysteriously appears on the back of the woman's head. The second mouth often mumbles spiteful and threatening things to the woman and demands food. If it is not fed, it can screech obscenely and cause the woman tremendous pain. Eventually, the woman's hair begins to move like a pair of serpents, allowing the mouth to help itself to the woman's meals. While no food passes through her normal lips, the mouth in the back of her head consumes twice than the other one would. A Manto is a young man who wears a white mask, and a long red coat who lingers the toilet. He was regularly harassed by his classmates and then he decided to end his life in the toilet. Since then, he has been taking revenge on all those who go to relieve themselves. The legends say that he asks users if they prefer red or blue paper. There is no right answer. If you choose the red paper, he will kill you in a pool of blood. And if you choose the blue paper, you will be strangled. Gashadokuro is a giant starving skeleton, said to be made up of the bones of unburied people who have died of starvation or at war. It hides in the woods at night, where it can blend in with skeletal trees, and then attacks unsuspecting passers-by. According to the legend, the only warning that you are being stalked by one of these giant stealthy skeletons, is that intended victims will suddenly experience a ringing in their ears. If that happens, be sure to hightail it out of there. Said to be both invisible and indestructible, the only true prevention is a Shinto charm. Gozu is an evil spirit with the appearance of a cow head. The cow head is considered the scariest horror story ever written. It is supposed to be so terrifying, that it is considered fatal even to hear it. During a school trip, a teacher, not knowing how to calm his dissipated students, had the bad idea of telling this horror legend. The demon then came and took possession of his body. By the time the teacher had finished telling the story, the bus had crashed and all the students were lying on the ground in agony. None of the survivors could remember the Japanese horror story that had caused this tragedy.